All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Changemaker TV. We have a very beautiful guest on today, Missy Garcia. So excited to have you here, Missy.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here.
So Missy and I met each other through an incredible program that we did, deep dive into, ourselves on a spiritual level and really all about taking action. And we connected, and I've been very inspired by you, Missy, and seeing your journey and just seeing what you're putting out there in the world. It's really, really inspiring.
Oh, I've been inspired by you too. I love what you're doing. I love this Changemaker TV. It's so awesome.
Thank
When I
you.
first saw it, I was like, yes, love it.
Yeah, it's been great. The feedback's been incredible, and hearing people come back and say, wow, like hearing that story and how it was able to impact people. So that's what I love. And, being able to interview people like yourself and just to kind of give a bit of a background into Missy. Missy's a keynote speaker, an author. Her book comes out in September, and a passionate wellness advocate. She's really, inspired around this holistic health and very successful in her business and her career. And I'll let her talk a little bit about her journey. And so as well as that, you're a mum. Yeah, a mum of two beautiful kids, and also taken a holistic approach with them, which I also love. And I think even that, even being a mom and juggling the life that we have with business and all of that personal growth and spirituality and taking care and giving them the best opportunity deserves so much credit within itself. So I acknowledge you for that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. It's a big journey, right? Parenting. No one thinks it's going to be easy, but it's a beautiful journey.
Yeah, like my mum always used to say, no one gave me a handbook, no one told me how to do this.
Yeah.
Right? And what's right for one person is not right for another. So it's all unique.
That was true. Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about your journey, like just with the main chunks of where you've come from and where you are today, so we can get to know you a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. So I graduated from nursing school in 2008. And so the program that I went to was a holistic program. So right then and there, I didn't even actually know what holistic meant before I went into that program. But then in the program, I learned about how it really connects everything. So your mind, body, spirit, everything is related when you talk about, especially health and wellness. We have to look at everything. And so I was really grateful for that opportunity to open up my mind to that. And then I came back and was working in the hospital. I got pregnant with my daughter, and after about 3 months back to work when she was 6 months old, I injured my back. And so I went really hard into my holistic path then, because I was looking for anything natural that was going to help for me to get back to where I was pre-injury. And then that's where I discovered so many different things with essential oils and chiropractic, massage therapy, physical therapy, yoga. I literally was using everything, and just became really aware of how I wanted to change my health patterns and help other people change their health patterns. And then started to dive into deeper with the mindset, because I started building a business. And, as they say, if you want to really work on yourself, start a business. Yeah. So I really worked on myself. I've been an entrepreneur for the past 5.5 years now, and really worked on the mindset. And then it seems like you lift up one layer, you're like, oh, I'm good here. And then, oh, here's another layer that you need to work on. Oh, here's another one. So it's been layer after layer after layer.
Yeah, the onion, right? Oh, there's more.
Yeah. And so now, I'm looking even more at the bigger picture, because when I first started with holistic health, it was really the tangible things. Oh, I'm using this oil. I can feel how it's affecting me. But now, as I can see holistic health, oh, I can see how my mind is affecting my digestive system, and how my thought processes are affecting my activity and my motivation, and my sexuality is affecting, my creativity. And so I'm looking at the whole big picture when we're looking at holistic health. And a lot of that's been portrayed into my kids too, especially when it comes to like communication and verbalizing things instead of holding things in. So that's kind of in a nutshell my journey from where I was to kind of where I'm at right now. But yeah, it's been loving the onion layers opening up for me.
Yeah, it's exciting. As challenging as it becomes and eye-opening it is, it's wonderful, right? I think growth is the key, right? We're all here to learn and grow and evolve. And I love actually that you take yourself on, and as you say, being an entrepreneur and being in the kind of business that you're in, it's the key to success. So in terms of that, in terms of kind of peeling back those layers and so forth, what's been the biggest challenge for you in that, along that journey?
Ooh, the old blocks that come up. So the things that literally you still know what I'm talking about. The own resistance within myself and the actual actions that I do to keep myself small. And now being aware of those actions that I do, where before they're hidden underneath and I didn't see them as me actually holding myself back.
Yeah.
And so now I can see it, and now I can feel it when it's coming up, and now I can see those concerns and those things that are keeping me in a safer place.
Yeah.
But not where I want to be.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So keeping you in what perhaps other people expect, the status quo, keeping you kind of, going through the motions and not being spectacular or brilliant, but yeah, playing it small. And I think a lot of people will probably be able to relate to that are watching this. And so around that, was it the confrontation of kind of going, maybe taking responsibility of certain things, like, I'm doing this,
I think it was not trusting myself and my own capability.
Yeah.
I've always been my hashtag is break the mold. I've always been a mold breaker ever since I was little. You can ask my mom. I was always doing something completely different than what everybody else was doing. I was always on my own path. Yeah. But I think it was when I got to a point that I was like, okay, this is, I'm comfortable here. This is a really good point, but I knew I was capable of so much more, was when I was like, but where is that going to come from? And the only place where it's going to come from was for me to actually dive into where I dove into, to see what was holding me back, and to acknowledge it, and for me to get the power back for me to move forward. And it's still something that I have to deal with on a daily basis. It's not something that goes away completely, but it's something that now I'm aware of it and I can push through it versus just allow it to just be. And people, I think, other people, family, I actually, I've had probably the biggest struggle with my husband keeping me small, because that's where it's safe. And we've had numerous conversations about it. And, now he's, playing big himself, because he had to realize that him trying to pull me back down was not going to allow us to grow together and to be capable of what we're capable of.
Yeah, that's a really great, kind of conversation, even in that. I think it's really common in relationships when one partner is growing and evolving and really doing the work, and the other one's kind of left behind. They're looking at you, or they're looking at the partner saying, wow, they're going up here and I'm here, I'm not there, I'm not on that path. Let's bring them back down. Yeah. And it happens in families, it happens in friends and society. Obviously it's can impact more when it's in that intimate relationship. So tell us more about this. How have you guys, worked through this? What's been the key for you to, work together through this?
Communication, 100% communication. And sometimes those hard conversations, those things that you really don't want to be saying, but you have to say them, like raw, honest truth. And that was the key, was for us to go into we made a commitment to each other to always be raw and honest with each other no matter what, and for us to be able to deal with those, you know, truths coming out and not try to shame the other person for it. And it's just been me having to have that conversation with him and invite him into the possibilities and the future that I'm wanting to create with him.
Yeah, that's right. So it's that path of being able to create the new possibilities together, right? Beautiful.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about the book.
The book. Fun. So the book is called Women Who Inspire, and it's 12 amazing women that have all come together and put a little snippet into the book as a whole for their individual chapter. So I have my individual chapter, and mine's called From Shame to Shine. That's what my chapter is called.
Beautiful.
And the reason why it's called that is because my topic is actually about when I was 16 and I was date raped by a boyfriend. And that completely just basically took me off of my path, took me out of my power. It was something that I didn't even talk about up until really a year ago. And so I realized how much that shame within me has impacted me as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, as, you know, just individual being. And just that power that was stripped away from me there. And so I wanted to really dive into that story about how I got my power back, like where I was at that state in my life and how I hit it and how I came to light and to be able to get my power back and to allow myself to shine through that. And I think it's something that a lot of women about. I didn't talk about it for about 15 years.
Yeah.
And it's because of all that shame and stuff that's hidden around it. And I had so much of that. And so I was really inspired of my life because I just wanted to, I could just help one woman to talk about their past and their sexual assault for them to get their power back, then I did my job. So that was really like just my thought process with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I can imagine obviously the process of that caused you to have to really dig in deep and do a lot of personal work, you know, as I obviously know, to be able to get to that point to talk about it and move through the shame. And I think shame is a big thing out there, isn't it?
Yeah, it did. It took a lot. The only person that knew was my husband. Well, my husband and a friend in high school. That was it. And, you know, when it horribly affected our relationship, especially our sexual relationship, because I would get like panic attacks whenever, you know, it was time to be intimate. And, you know, him being the most amazing man he is, he would never force anything on me and we would always be open with it. But of course it impacted our relationship. Yeah. And, you know, I kept completely, like, it was like I took a piece of me, which was my sexuality, and I put it over here and pretended that it didn't exist, pretended it wasn't a piece of me. And so it was like working on everything else to be complete, but this was way over here. And I was like, but I don't want to have to deal with that. Don't want to have to deal with that. But finally it came to the point where I was strong enough to be able to deal with it and to bring that and make me whole again.
Yeah, good on you. Well done. I really commend you on that.
Thank you.
So the mold breaker, the rebel, I guess, the one that wants to follow her own path. How has that kind of impacted you through your life? You know, have you what's your experience has been being that mold breaker, and how have you got through that?
Oh, well, I was voted probably in high school the least one to ever succeed or become anything. Yeah, like I was always the one with so much potential. Like, oh, you have so much potential. Why won't you live up to your potential? I really hope that you live up to your potential. Like, I heard that so many times. And now that I can think of it like retrospectively, like I just think I wasn't inspired in that time of my life. I wasn't inspired to do anything. So I just didn't. I just really, I barely even went to school because it was like, I didn't really feel like I was getting anything from it.
Yeah.
That was a big one. I definitely would stand out with different things. I was very athletic, and I grew up with 3 older brothers. I know we have that in common. And so we, you know, I didn't have the male female dynamic like a lot of other ones did. Like I mean, I would say whatever I needed to, guy or not, if I would stand up to anybody. And so I was always kind of that standout type person in that way. And I got in a lot of trouble. My mom is telling me I'm probably going to get payback with my kids.
Yeah, I can relate.
Yeah. So I always, you know, I was always just kind of breaking the mold. And so even when I decided that I was going to become a nurse, like even that decision in itself was breaking the mold for my entire family. None of my family had ever graduated from college. And, you know, here's this, you know, girl who barely even graduated from high school that goes into college and gets a 3.5 GPA. And everyone's like, whoa, where did this come from? And then to go into a nursing program, come out, and then have my kids outside of the hospital, choose a completely alternative healthcare system. I just completely just went away from what I know, but I'm so grateful for what I know, because I know when I need to turn to that knowledge and when I need to turn to, you know, Western medicine versus my holistic medicine. So I'm really like thankful for the path because it's opened up where I'm at now. And, you know, I've been able to build a successful business around holistic medicine and specializing in essential oils, and been able to really empower so many people because I broke the mold from Western med.
Yeah, love it. And so you know, you spoke about inspiration and not being inspired. Then what inspires you today? What inspires you to be the person that you are and to, you know, make a difference to other people? Obviously, that's probably part of it, but.
Right. A lot of my inspiration, I think, comes from within, with me following like my own path, my own vision, to see, you know, what other people are doing and be able to know that I'm capable of those sort of things, to continue to dream. I mean, I get inspired all the time from listening to you or listening to other people that are on the same sort of journey. But I know that the true inspiration comes from within me to be able to actually put it into action to make it happen. So it's, you know, I think it's kind of looking at it as a big picture too. I think a lot of times we think that we're going to hear something and all of a sudden I'm inspired, but that's one little piece of it.
Yeah.
That's one piece of inspiration to get to where you want to go. But the other piece is actually getting into action and doing it. So you have to have that inspiration every single day to do the actions for you to get to that vision that you're creating.
Yeah. So how do you find it? I know a lot of people, you know, could probably be out there thinking, yeah, you know, how do I tap into that? How do I tap into that inspiration within me? People that are struggling, people that are, you know, perhaps not on their own path and trying to discover that. Any tips or advice?
Yeah, I think definitely listening to positive people instead of negative people, and, you know, any of those negative people, doing what you can to put them into a love box on the side. You love them, but they're boxed up. Also, yeah, a love box. Also, I think seeing what is actually preventing you from taking actions. So really honing into you and listening to you, and whether it's a positive or negative thing, it's totally okay. But we have to listen to that, because I can, you know, one thing that I honestly don't enjoy doing is something like this. Like I was nervous. I was over here sniffing my oils before I even got on. I was like, oh my gosh, okay. I'm seriously, I'm sweating right now. But so I could easily hear all those things that are occurring for me and say, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. But instead I'm listening to it, working through it, and be able to move forward. So I think it just comes into us actually really listening to ourselves and acknowledging the negative things that are trying to hold us back, and bringing light to it so that we can shift it aside, because our vision is so much stronger.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really great point. You know, we tend to not listen to ourselves. We tend to, you know, keep ourselves really busy, especially in this day and age. You know, if you speak to someone, of course they say, "Oh, I'm so busy," you know. Life is like that. And we tend to then ignore the signs, ignore the signals of what's occurring for us, what's actually going on. I have clients that I work with, and I say, you know, pay attention to what's going on. What are your thoughts? And they say, oh, I know I don't have negative thoughts. You know, we do. We all do, right? And
all
like,
the time.
Yeah. And like you said, it's shining the light on it. And that is what will then help us see the light at the end of the tunnel. And be able to get conscious awareness of what's occurring underneath the layers, deep in that onion. Back to the onion again.
Deep in the onion. That is the core of the onion right there.
Yeah,
it is the core. No, but it's so true. Yeah. Because, you know, I think, and especially I think, and you can probably attest to this, when you start on your real personal development journey, it's like positive mindset, positive mindset, positive mindset. And nowhere did they ever say, like, there's going to be negative that's going to come through, and that's okay. Listen to it. So that way, you know, don't listen to it and act on it and allow it to be, but listen to it, because that's really is what is preventing you from taking the steps forward, is those things. So when I became aware of those is when I was like, okay, here's my decision. Am I going to allow to sit in that negative thought about myself or what I'm trying to create? Or am I going to push past it and get to my vision? Now I have the power to actually consciously make that decision because I'm aware.
Yeah. So you're present to it, you're aware of it, it's there, but you're pushing through, like moving through it. You're taking action and feeling that when it feels uncomfortable, not letting that hold you back, and creating the results that you want ultimately.
Yeah. I mean, I think we forget that we have choices, right? We have a choice.
Yeah.
I could choose to do what I'm doing right now, or I could have chose to pick up the phone and canceled with you. Yeah. I could have chose that, right? And, you know, I'm choosing to have this conversation because of my vision to empower people, to empower women, and to allow people to know that we are all able to create the future that we want. We really can. And we can create the health that we want, the life that we want, you know, all of that. We can create it all. So, you know, that was bigger than my sweaty fear.
Exactly. And it comes back to that vision, something bigger than you. You knowing that by not doing this, all you're doing is holding yourself back. You're not staying true to the essence of what it is that you really want to do and what you really want to create. And I think a lot of people out there feel that. They feel this pull. They know that they're here for some reason, for some special purpose. They hear it all the time. They're not listening. They're not willing to put themselves out there and do it. And by doing that, they're going against everything within their selves, you know, that is what they're here for.
It's true. Yeah, it's very, very true. Yeah.
And it takes courage, though, like yourself, having to be courageous to do the work and get a bit messy.
Yeah.
You know, we've been through the mess.
In that, yeah. I'm messy. Yeah. It's moment by moment courage, right? It's just moment by moment courage. That's really what it is. You know, when we're making a stand for whatever we want to in our life and for others and for our vision, it's moment to moment courage to keep you in that path. And, you know, because of my history, part of me, my stand is, you know, empowerment and freedom. And so much of my empowerment and freedom was blocked when my sexuality was blocked. So now I'm expanding that. And, you know, I'm putting beautiful posts out there on Facebook with beautiful pictures of me being empowered as a sexual woman. And man, you can't even believe the kickback that I've gotten from people. So it's just, it's that moment to moment courage to
Yeah.
keep you on your path.
I love it. I love those pictures. It is very powerful and very beautiful to see that someone who had really, like you said, put that sexuality out in the box and didn't want to deal with it, and now is just totally embracing that. Like, oh, the courage, the inspiration that you are around that is so powerful. And definitely you will be doing that, empowering others and helping others to create the freedom.
Yeah. And it's just a journey. That's what I want people to remember. It's just a journey.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have it all together, like my sexuality journey is at the very beginning still. And so I'm continuing to add to that and continuing to expand on that and continuing to become more and more empowered with that aspect of myself. But I got on the path. I got on the path to be able to move along that journey. And that's all that it is. Just get onto the path with whatever you want to create, whatever part of yourself or being or vision or anything, just get on the path. And then it's just one step at a time forward to get to your journey.
Yeah. I think we forget that. We forget that it actually is in the journey, not the destination, because we get to the destination and we're okay, now what? But so just around, I'm quite intrigued around, I guess, this journey of bringing the sexuality part back in, embracing that part of you. Can you share a little bit about, obviously talking about it and bringing it out, uncovering it has been a big thing. What else has been a part of that?
Definitely talking about it has been a huge thing. Having more sex has been another part of it for sure. My husband really enjoys that part of it. Talking about sexual desires and talking about, those sort of things. I took up pole dancing and, I fell in love with that. And gosh, the first couple of times, man, was I so uncomfortable. I was so uncomfortable. And I remember watching the instructor and just literally jaw watching her, and just the grace and the beauty and the sexuality that was just coming from her. And I remember my thoughts of oh, there's no way that you could ever do that. To my internal thought. And I was like, well, why can't I? Why can't I? Why can't I, explore that part of me and become comfortable with that part of me? Yeah. And, I'm not going to go do it as a profession, but it's an amazing workout. And just the movement within my body has really opened up just that sexual energy, that sexual flow. So that's been beautiful. I started working with a tantric coach. And so I was working with her and just dealing with some blocks, and I developed a story that it just wasn't safe to be sexual. Yeah. And it took a while to even get to that story that I developed. And once I could see that story is when I could start to change that story. And, again, just becoming aware. When I go out in public, sometimes when somebody comes to talk to me, I can be especially male, I'm okay, what do you want? I can feel that coming up. Yeah. But now I'm becoming aware of that. And so I'm becoming more open, and I'm not in that fear place like I used to be. Yeah. So just my heart's more open to myself and to other people too.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's beautiful. I'm sure that will help some women out there for sure. And so what advice, what advice do you have for people who really want to discover and follow their own path? Anything more than what you've shared already that you could give them some advice on doing that?
What I would ask them to ask themselves, what is it that really makes you happy that you could do? What is it, something that, even as a child that you enjoyed doing? I always enjoyed, talking, and always enjoyed find myself to be more introverted, but I was always on stages and talking to groups of people. So I always liked that part of me. And I always liked kind of being that leader and helping other people and guiding. And so what is it that you used to do? What are those qualities that are your own strengths that were God given to you, that you love, that you have within? And what is something that you can mold around that? Because anything's possible. So, you know, I started with network marketing, and I have a very successful network marketing business. And that has given me the avenue, because of that residual income, for me to now step out and explore more of what I'm capable of. And that's where, you know, I am today. So find something, and then find an avenue, whatever that may be, and then just get into action, create that vision. You can do it.
Yeah, awesome. And just one more question, because the topic of network marketing, I think a lot of people out there have a misconception, a limiting belief around network marketing. And I'm sure you've been confronted with that a lot, myself included, also being in network marketing. What, again, you know, what advice have you got for people that perhaps are looking for an opportunity? They know they want more. They know that they, you know, would like the kind of lifestyle that actually network marketing can bring them, yet they're not open to it.
Yeah. They need to learn the facts, because they probably have a story around it. They need to learn the facts of actually how network marketing is actually run, and how you can make an income with it, and how other people are successful with it. Because I think a lot of times the story is based off of other people's own concerns, and they've embedded it into their brains, and they just believe it, where it's so not true. I hear so many funny stories, and I'm like, wait, what? That's so not accurate. Can I please share with you the facts? So, and then they need to put those people that are anti-network marketing into the love box. Put them into the love box. I love you. You're going to stay over here while I work towards my vision, because they are the quickest ones to pull them off the path. And, you know, I even remember my dad, who I love dearly, tell me, okay, so when are you going to go get a real job? And what I love now is I was able to have a conversation with him probably about 6 months ago. And I said, you know, at what point in time, because he started, he was a State Farm insurance agent. So they're entrepreneurial, you know, they have to kind of develop their own clients and that sort of thing. So, you know, similar to network marketing, but more in the typical normal box, right? And so I said, so when did you start to see an income in your business that you were able to like bring home? And he's like, it wasn't until, you know, like 5 or 6 years in my business that I was able to actually be really making a living off of it. And I was like, oh, okay, well, beat ya.
Killed you. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So it's pretty, yeah, it was a cool conversation.
Yeah, that's fun. But yeah, great. Awesome. Great advice there. And tell us now, Missy, let's wrap it up. How can people find you and hear more about what you're doing and what you have to offer?
Best place is just to go to my website, Missy and then letter A, Garcia.com. And they can find all my social media outlets there. We can stay connected. They can reach out to me, and if they need some help, I can help them on their journey.
Great. Thank you so much for your time.
One last thing.
Yeah.
The book, September 26th. The book comes out September 26th. Women Who Inspire.
Yes.
So make sure you mark your calendars and get the book.
Totally. I can't wait to read it myself. Go out there, get it. Go check out Missy. As you can see, she's a beautiful woman from the inside out, and I'm sure everyone's, you know, gained a lot out of this conversation. It's been so much fun, babe. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Brave and putting yourself out there. Love you lots.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Mwah. Bye.
See you. Bye-bye.